Hello, and welcome to this quick video on Chapter 16 Practice for Stored Procedures. What stored procedures are is a way to save queries that I want to run again and again and again. We already know that we can save our queries as .sql files, but the problem with that is, I have to remember the files out, I got to open file, then I got to run it. So stored procedures are a way of saving a query and actually saving them as part of the database. And you can do more with stored procedures than what we're going to do. We're just going to do it with a simple select statement, but you can do all kinds of stuff. You can do updates, you can change this table. A stored procedure can do like 10 lines of procedures. Like I could do a select this, do that, update this, and that could all be inside one stored procedure. So I'm going to go ahead and start with number 1. It says to write the stored procedure that will select the vendors from California. So the first thing I'm going to do is come up with the select statement. Select. And I have vendor name, vendor city, vendor state, from vendors where vendor state equals California. First of all, I make sure that my select statement is right. So I get 75 rows. If I want to save this as a stored procedure, I'm just going to stick a couple things before and after it. So the first thing I'm going to do is say create procedure. And I give it a name. I'm going to call mine SP vendors. I like to start my stored procedures with SP so I know they're stored procedures. I use the word as, and then I say begin, and I come to the end of it, and I type end. So when I run this is not going to give me query results. This is actually going to save it as a stored procedure. So when I say it says command completed successfully. So if I come over here to my AP database, and I expand programmability, stored procedures, I might have to refresh here. Hold on. There it is, SP vendors. So now number 2 says to run my stored procedure. So all I have to do to run a stored procedure is use the word execute and then the name. So if I run it, now I'll see my query results. So the nice thing about stored procedures is lots of times applications sit on top of SQL Server databases, and a lot of applications have reports. And most of the reports are information that's narrowed down or queried. So instead of running all these queries and really killing the database, those reports will point to a stored procedure to give me exactly what they need and no more. So number 3 says to write it using a parameter that allows, so let's say I want the stored procedure to be a little more dynamic. I don't always want it to be California. I want to be able to say which state I want. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. Come down here to number 3. And instead of create, I'm going to say alter because it's already there. And I want a parameter. So I'm going to call it at vendor state, and I have to tell what data type it is. So I say varchar, and let's say 3 characters. So down here, I just say where vendors. So right now, it's not giving me the option of saying what state. I'm just going to change the actual stored procedure. So I run this. Command completed successfully. So now when I run it, number 4, I say execute SP vendors, and I give it what I want for that parameter. So let's say I want Michigan. So I run it, and now I get the vendors from Michigan. I can change that to California again and get California. Oops. I can change that to Ohio and see if I have any Ohio vendors. Okay, so stored procedures are pretty cool. You just got to remember that you can only use the word create the first time you're creating it. If you change it after that, you have to use the word alter. So I hope this helps. Thanks.